Welcome back to Feeding Power Podcast. Today is the season finale for season 2, and today we're excited to be talking about everything we have done throughout the season and new events that have happened.
Welcome back. We're so excited. Season finale. We're going to be having a new season coming up. We're going to come back stronger. We're going to have a lot more episodes. Joanna and I on this episode, we're going to recap about what we've been working on. We've been working on ourselves, our business partners, and let's just dive into it. I am excited about this.
That's right. The most recent thing that we have experienced has been the entrepreneur conference that we did, that we attended to. I know a lot of professionals in the industry did the same thing, as it was the first entrepreneur conference that we had. That kind of conference in Long Island, correct? So why not go? Luis and I actually, when we started, we needed knowledge, connections, and motivation, if anything. Correct. We had to fly out all the way to LA.
Yeah, so we were in California. You know what's crazy? The same day we had the event here 2 years ago, we were actually at our first event in California, which was Driven. And we always said, Joanna, like, why don't we have an event here on Long Island? Like, you know, why doesn't no one think about creating an event here like this on Long Island, right?
That's right.
And fortunate enough, 2 years later, now look, we have all almost the same speakers that we were in California in our backyard.
Yes, so. Absolutely. And then, you know, when you mentioned that, I was seeing the memories of Facebook memories, Instagram memories, and it was like exactly 2 years ago.
Exactly.
And that also makes me think like the growth that we've done, everything that we have accomplished. Yeah. So like you said, having it in the backyard, now that I'm part of Clifco, and that's how I heard about the entrepreneur conference, because Clifco and the 10X training with JV decided to just make this huge event and included us to be part of it. So I think it was really good. And speaking of the speakers that we had, I know for a fact that one of my favorites has always been Grant Cardone. Yeah. But we didn't get to see him 2 years ago.
Yeah, 100%.
But for you, who was the best and most influential speaker on that day?
So my favorite speaker of all time, and I think any event that I go to, is Brad Lee.
Absolutely.
The only reason why I really love Brad Lee is because he knows how to bring the energy back to a room. He knows how to keep that energy. He knows how to keep your attention. So you know, especially when it's a speaker who you're paying to sit there, listen to them, but you want to stay zoned into what they're talking about, and take even their advice, their jokes. Correct. And Brad Lee is, he's funny, he keeps you entertained, and he's throwing you knowledge, and he's just straight to your he's direct with his stuff. Point. Yeah, straight to the point.
Absolutely.
So, what about you, Joanna? Who was your favorite speaker?
For this event, it was Brad Lee.
Okay.
He definitely brought in the energy. Yeah. Last event that we went to, he was one of the best ones too. I did take a picture with him last event. This one, I was surprised because I guess us New Yorkers are just so into like our daily routine that we are not even. We're not looking for motivation.
Correct.
We're not looking for that. We get motivated with our projects, but we need to pick on people's brain that are already doing things. Yeah. And it was so surprising when I went to the VIP area and he was there. Yeah. And I didn't acknowledge that I didn't see him, right? But it was so surprising how he was by himself. I was eating Oreo cookies. If not, I would have jumped to him. And then I'm like pushing the girls. I'm like, look who's there. And once I was gonna go to him, I was ready to go. He just walked out. The point is, I was surprised how no one was approaching him. No, correct. And over there, we could please, trying to make time to talk to him. But again, he was definitely one of my favorite ones. Like you mentioned, he goes straight to the point. He doesn't sugarcoat anything, and he doesn't try to tell you. He basically talks to you like you're his friend. Okay. And then now, who has the opposite personality? But it was one of my favorites. Was Tim Grover. Yeah. Yes. To him, you could tell he's so disciplined. He's very he knows what he wants, and he wants you to know what you want to.
Correct. Well, yeah. I mean, Tim Grover is more of He's a speaker, but he's more of like a trainer, Correct. And his mentality is this is what you're going to do, and you're going to do it this way. And if you don't do it this way, don't waste your time.
Correct.
And, that's why, and we took away from every speaker because we had Renee Rodriguez, we had Jason Mitchell, Michael Burt, we had Grant Cardone, Brad Lee, which, were all great speakers. They all have something that, that made each of them different, right?
That's right.
Which is great because, you don't have to take everything that each speaker says. You just need one thing from each speaker that's
going to work for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, not everything's going to work for you.
Correct.
Yeah, so for team to conclude on him, he's the definition of that quote. Yeah. I don't have patience for the laziness. Sure. And he doesn't have patience for lazy people, and he comes across, don't waste your time and don't come and waste my time. I'll coach you if you need Now, when it comes to Michael Burt, he's also like a really good coach, but you could tell like he's there to help you. He's there like, okay. Correct. So again, not every speaker's for you, not every person's for you. I'm actually taking the training he's going to do on October 9th.
Me too.
That's right. So if you don't know, there's going to be a training for one of the speakers who's going to train you on how to take yourself to the next level, because a lot of times we say your business, but you yourself is the one that's going to determine how your business is going to go.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, and then like I'm also taking the training. So if anyone is looking to take the training, if this episode is gonna release before the October 9th. So if you're someone who wants to change the way you do business, not the way you run your business, but the way you run your business as a person, DM us and we'll send you the information. I believe there was only 10 spots available. If the spots are filled up, then I think they're gonna have another event. But if they're not, then, you just got to look into Michael Burt, and he'll definitely help you.
That's correct. So now, who haven't we touched topics on for those speakers? I think we already spoke. We haven't spoke about Renee.
Yes. We have Renee, Jason Mitchell, and, obviously Grant Cardone. So I think Renee was more about how you can, it's more like mental health, right? Because it's in the aspect of your life, you have to have mental health, your health, like your body in general.
Be connected with yourself.
Be connected with yourself, correct. And for me, like some of the things he was doing on the stage were like, what the heck? Like I never like seen it that way, or correct. Like just like if you dominating your conversation by interlocking your fingers, or like putting your hands.
Your body language.
Yeah, your body language.
Your tone.
And
correct.
a lot of people don't realize that. So like somebody points it out, right?
That's right.
And then you're like, wait, I didn't know I was doing that.
Nice.
So that's what Renee kind of like, was showing us like, hey, look, this is the way that you should be having dominant conversations.
Correct. And I think what I got from him is like communication is everything. Mm-hmm. But communication also comes with how you feel and who you are about yourself. Correct. Sometimes we, especially network events, we don't even know, like when he asked, what's your favorite color? Like, I'm here like saying, it's green, it's turquoise. I don't even know why. I don't even know why. So then I can't even have a full conversation when it comes to that, because he is about like knowing who you are, what you stand for, and that's going to allow you to communicate better and to have a better presence 100%. When you go out there and speak to people.
Correct. Yeah, and then, so that was one of my favorite things too, because it was kind of like restructuring your whole like sentence. Like you said, it's like, what's your favorite color? It's not about your favorite color. It's about who you are and why you like that color, and if you sit and think about it, it brings out more in you, and you're like, wait, like in reality, there's more to why I really like that color, know.
And what did you think about the agent Jason Mitchell?
So with Jason Mitchell, it was his first event, which I understand he's nervous. He's never been in a crowd of 800 people, so you could tell he's a little nervous, right? But for me, I look up to them because he's an agent who's running a team of 20 people, 30 people, and he's closing over 800 deals in a year. So I want to be that, I want to be that Jason Mitchell in 10 years from now and be like, he used to stand there and now I'm there. So pretty much what I took from him was just, I had a one-on-one conversation with him in the VIP lounge. And he was just telling me, how I should have my metrics, how I should run my team, what are, the things I should have my team delegate. So, like I said, it was more of a one-on-one conversation. I really didn't take much from what he was talking about on the stage because
mostly at the VIP lounge.
Yeah, correct. And then he's from, I think, I don't know what state, he's out somewhere out west. So the way they do business is a lot different than we do here in New York.
Correct.
And I think we've had that issue with people in California saying like, oh, we got, you guys get it hard, but we got to deal with the attorneys and all that extra stuff. That, agents in the West, they're signing, they're doing their own contracts, they're drawing their own contracts. So, for me, it was, like I said, it was that one-on-one conversation where, we talked. Yeah.
What I liked about Jason is that you can tell he doesn't think of limits. He doesn't have limits. As you can see, he's the top agent in USA.
Yeah.
A lot of agents would say, okay, I'll take over New York. I'll take over New Jersey. I'm the king of here. I'm the queen of this. But for him, it's like there is no limits. You know, you can definitely take this whole real estate, like he calls it the golden ticket, and take it to the next level.
Correct. So yeah, and then pretty much like you said, it's just knowing what you want. And he's like, we have agents that we've interviewed on our podcast, and myself, we think small. We got to think outside the box. Correct. And this is like, he has his team called the Jason Mitchell Group, where they have, agents in New York, California, Texas, Louisiana, like all over the country. So we got to start thinking big.
Got to think big. I mean, I got licenses everywhere. So please, correct. I need agents that are thinking big and want to do business everywhere.
Correct. And then we have Mr. Grant Cardone, the undercover billionaire. So, and he's obviously the CEO of 10X as well. So I know that, I don't want to say it this way, you're not in love with him, but, he's probably one of your favorite guys that you always look up to, right?
Yes, and the reason why is because he definitely is very transparent that he came from nothing, and he came from, rough times, rough beginnings, and every time I meet someone, they're always younger than me.
100%.
And they have accomplished everything that at one point I felt because I didn't, I thought, okay, I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm going to take a break. But he was actually on his, mid or in late 20s, and he was still like, you know what? I have no limits. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to work for it. I'm going to get it done. And then once he decided he was going to do something, it seems like he doesn't have any excuse for himself. He doesn't have any pity for himself. He 100%. Doesn't think of himself as a victim. And I relate so much in that because my whole life is like one thing I would refuse to do is be a victim of anything.
Correct.
So he is one of my favorites all the time. For this event, I would say when he came in with the message, for those that don't know him or haven't followed him, he maybe was a little confusing with the whole housing stuff and everything. Yeah. But the way, because I know, like, I've been following, he was not speaking about basically don't get a house. But that's the only thing. I got a lot of feedback from him that he did confuse a lot of people. But that's because they didn't know him.
I agree. Because the thing is, like you said.
By the way, when I say know him, I don't mean like I know him, but like I follow. I know his style of teaching, his style of communicating.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like you said, like a lot of people, didn't probably understand the message he was trying to give because it was a message of more of like focus on the investment side. Like don't focus on having it as your first home and just living there your rest of your life. It's more of, okay, you're going to buy this house, find some positive or return on your investment, and then go buy another one that's also going to have more, return on your investment. Correct. Now you're building cash flow, which is paying for your other expenses that now you don't have to work hard for. And that was literally the message, right?
That's exactly the message. But a lot of people are like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, like, they looked at him like, okay. Then like, woo, like, yeah. And they probably didn't understand the message, right? So, but like you said, if you know who Grant Cardone is, that's his way of teaching. That's his that's who he is, and that's nobody's gonna change that.
That's right. That's right. Well, those were the speakers, and we were really excited speaking about them. But 100%. Now we are more excited to speak about the other speakers that we actually know in person and actually had the time and did the effort to come here to season 2. So we're gonna start with the first one we had opening the season strong. We had Dan O'Neill.
Yes, Dan O'Neill. Dan O'Neill from the O'Neill team. So. Dan is very young, right? So 26, between 26, 28. He has his own team, especially, he's been going in Long Island. He's been in business for 2.5, 3 years now.
It's crazy how much he has built in like 2 years and the way he has built and gone up. He's one of the top agents here 100%. In Long Island. Yeah. And the team just keeps growing too. That's what I know it is.
Yeah, so Dan O'Neill was probably, for me, with him was more, it was like a fun conversation. It was not more of like, learning about him because we kind of know about him since we do work in the same market a little bit, right? So for me, it was like, okay, he obviously he loves this team. So, it's just, as team leaders, we both related how much we love our team and why we love having a team.
Correct.
And other than that, it was just having fun. We found out he loves Bad Bunny. I didn't even know he listened to Spanish music. So that's the best part about it.
I mean, he was singing to one of them too.
Exactly.
I think you sent me. He sent like a video singing, and then I was at church. There's no way I was gonna open Bad Bunny at church. Here, yes, we should put it. So Dan O'Neill, I loved his energy, and every time I meet someone that already works with him or knows him, they always have great things to say about him. So I think he has a really, really bright future ahead, and I think this is just him warming up. I don't even think he has come to like where he already hit that success that he's looking for. Yeah. So watch out for him.
Yeah, definitely. And so our second guest was Manny the Prodigy. Manny's probably one of the most humblest person that I know. hardworking, especially from the restaurant industry, just like Dan O'Neill. Just like many other, our guests on the podcast. Manny came from El Salvador, especially at a, older age. English being his language barrier, So I think Manny's probably one of my favorite guests on the episode as well.
That's amazing. So I remember when Manny came in, I had no idea, it was thanks to you that he was able to come to the episode. And it's just by speaking to him, the first few words, you can tell that he was here for business. And when I say that, not at the podcast, here too, but he's here in the real estate industry for business, and he's going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. He was very inspirational for me because not only did, like you mentioned, he came at an older age, didn't know English. English is not my first language, so I can only imagine coming at an older age and learning it as well. So, and for me, Manny was definitely someone that episode I didn't want it to end. I had more questions. It had a lot more questions. Very humble, very hardworking. Loved the fact that he gave the credit to his wife, who was the one to push him to make it, and that they're, as a team, they're killing it out there. 100%. So when you work in a team, it's gonna be easier for you, and you're going to grow a lot. Higher. Correct.
And then for our third guest, we actually had Kevin Spann, so the insurance guru. Johana, what was your favorite part about that?
My favorite part is that it was very educational. So, a lot of us young people are always looking for entertainment. Anything to entertain us. Once there's a lot of information, we don't want to hear it. But with him, he has a way of explaining it that it's just, here's the simple stuff that you need to know and educate yourself, because especially when you are managing your own finances and you're growing financially, you need to educate where your money is going
100%.
and, how is it protected? Not only, and that's everything. Your house, like he said, from walls to everything.
Yeah, but even insurance, like, people get confused. They just think it's like coverage. It's not. It's you like you said, it's the money side of it. So we have what it's called, like, the life insurance. So and then you also have like insurance for your jewelry, insurance for your house, insurance for your car, insurance for, like, if you're gonna go on vacation. So, like, there's so many things that, like, people get confused, and they just think it's about, a policy. It's more about protecting what you've worked hard for. Especially you, Johana, you work so hard. You want to have a good policy protecting yourself, your investments, your hard work. So, that's what I took from that episode, where it was like, it's not just about insurance. It's about protecting your hard work.
The correct way. Because a lot of us will find, like, the cheap ways to do it too.
Exactly.
Like you mentioned, like, some people work hard, and then next thing you know, something, a tragedy happens, and then that's it. It's done. Like, all that hard work just went to waste.
Correct. So, and that's why you got to educate yourself. If you guys need some insurance, hit him up. He'll got you. He'll walk through the process with you with everything. Kevin Spann is definitely the guy you guys need to meet with if you're looking for anything related with insurance. Who was our next guest, Johana?
Our next one is one of my special guests, because she's like the female version of Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
She is not here for any excuses. She is here to make it happen. And despite everything she have gone through, everything that she went through, and everything she still has to handle, she is still out there making it happen. And she's definitely doing a dent in this universe. And that was Susan Clark.
100%.
One of my favorite things about her is her energy. Her energy is like, I feel like she just wakes up, doesn't even, like, that's it. Just
probably doesn't even sleep.
Out. Yes.
And my favorite thing, and I'm gonna put it right here, was real estate or death. And honestly, for a lot of people, it's not real estate or death. It's like real estate and whatever. Like, real estate on a Monday, and I'll chill I'll chill for the rest of the week, right?
Yes.
For her, it's like, okay, this is what's gonna change my life, take me out of adversity, help me grow, and if you haven't watched the podcast, you have to go back and watch it and see what we're talking about, because Susan has been through many, many things, from her mom passing away to, just so many things. Yeah.
She got every excuse that she could have to give up. She used it to keep on moving. And I love it when she says, what makes her better than anyone is really that she's the hardest working person in the room, and that should get everyone mad.
100%.
And like you said, like, it was either real estate or death to her, and that's how she functions. That's how she promotes herself, and that's really the work she does.
Yeah, and like I said, if you haven't watched that episode, stop watching this one. go watch that and come back and leave a like, a comment, and follow us, because Susan is somebody who definitely made an impact in this podcast for many people.
100%. Definitely will recommend that. If you have not seen the Susan Clark one, you have to go there. I had a lot of feedback with it. A lot of people were like, people that knew me personally too would say, Johana, like, I see why you really love this lady. You both have so much similarities. 100%. You both have gone through stuff, and you both wake up and decide that you're going to define the situation and not let that situation define you.
100%. And then for guest number 5, we have Naeem Boucher. So you know what's crazy? So our first episode, our first part of the episode today was about conferences, meeting people, and that's how I met Naeem. We actually met in Malibu back, I think it was last year in California. Naeem and I were standing on a taco line. We were trying to get tacos, right? And we were like, yo, like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Why am I here, right? Long story short, we started talking. And then I realized his energy is great. He's a person who also, just like Susan, and many of the guests on our podcast, have been through adversity, been through many things themselves. And when we were looking for a guest, he came to mind. Johana was like, "Oh, why don't you, bring him on? He looks like a person that we can definitely have fun with on a podcast." So Naeem was great. He had the energy. He's a good person. He has a good heart. What would you say was your favorite part?
My favorite part is that you can tell that Naeem is him.
He's genuine.
Yes, it's him. Like, he's not gonna be the different person tomorrow or later, like at night, who'll be like, okay, no, I'm done. No, he has that energy, morning, all day. Like, okay, this is who I am. This is what it is. You like it, you leave it, or
you don't,
or get out of my way. So I love that kind of attitude, that kind of energy of him being himself. Correct. And it's either you take it or you don't, and that's who he's going to be. Another thing about Naeem is that I related so much when he was speaking about soccer. He was a coach, and how we used to coach because we were giving back to the community. At one point, he decided that he had to, look out for himself. Yeah. And unfortunately, I did the same decision, especially this year. I did not coach this year. I wanted to fully focus on myself so I can give more and better when it comes to that. So Naeem was definitely really fun. That was like a really fun episode. And I'm looking forward to doing more business with Naeem. Yeah,
definitely. And I mean, that's also another episode that you have to stop here, go watch it, and come back, because Naeem just has the energy. He's very young. He's motivated. He's been able. He also has his own team as well. It's just crazy when you speak to somebody who's on the same mentality. Same age group as both of us, right? And it just makes it different. It makes you like even more motivated to do more, right? And then our following guest was somebody that you know very, very well. I think you have a really great relationship with her. You guys work hand to hand every day, right? So yes. That's Lisa Campos, our favorite chef. She had a little goodies all over here, right? Had me trying some cheese that I never even know existed.
Yeah, we were missing out one that day, but that's okay. So Lisa Campos, as everyone knows, she's more than just my assistant. To me, she's my friend. She's now like, to me, my family. To me, she's really like family. I mean, if you saw that episode, I discussed how we met. I met her through my little brother, and she was that person that locked me out of my own house without even knowing me yet. And now she's like the one that I can fully trust my business to. I know 100%. That I can be here recording this while she's over there taking care of everything, and that's priceless. Yeah, that is priceless. What she does is priceless. 100%. I can train someone day and night, but it's up to them and their work ethic and their integrity to make it happen. So for me, Lisa Campos is more than just my assistant. She's definitely my right hand. She's a friend, and she's like family to me. Definitely. So with Lisa, we definitely had fun that episode because she was a former chef before. All right, moving on for Lisa. Let's go.
All right, let's go. All right, I'm sorry. You gotta change. We gotta.
Luis saying yes, it was fun.
Yes. So Lisa. Wait. I'm sorry. All right. Wait, what do you want me to say?
No, I'll take it. I'll take it and pass it to him. Yes. Okay. Okay. 3, 2, 1. So Lisa was definitely one of my favorite episodes too, because it was not really a lot of mortgage involved. It was just having fun, who she was, who she is, correct. AKA Batman.
Yeah. And I mean, Lisa, for me, like, she works on my team as well. So pretty much, she's a very great agent. She takes responsibility for what she does, and having her on the episode, as a chef and bringing stuff, it made the whole episode different because sometimes we work too hard and we don't really have that. We don't see that side of our agents or our assistant, your assistant in this case. So yeah, I think it was definitely a great episode. It was impactful too. And then we have another special guest. Susan, I said Susan Clark. I'm sorry. It's Alina Nix, right? She was going for the Hempstead Town Clerk. She was a volunteer firefighter. I don't even know. There was so much to mention.
So much. You know what just that made me realize? That you usually bring in all the guests. And this season 2, I brought all the guests and they were all girls. So, yes, girl power.
We had half and half. So,
no,
come on.
The girls came, Susan Clark, Lisa, and Alina. Those are the only 3 guests I had, and they're all women. So, thank you, girls, for sticking up with each other.
Women power. Because we definitely, listen, if anybody's watching this podcast and you know any woman or that are powerful and any industry that you think can come in here and, tell their story, right, Johana? Because we need more powerful women. And not just coming from me. There's a lot of women out there that, they're powerful, but they stay quiet. They're hiding under the sheets. We want you to come on this podcast, make some noise, and get yourself out there.
That's right. And I'm so blessed to have met this powerful women, like I mentioned, and being able to bring them at the podcast, which is Susan, Lisa, and Alina. So Alina, she's running for the Hempstead Town Clerk. Mm-hmm. She, like you said, she used to work as a volunteer firefighter. Yep. She's also, I believe, vice president of the board of the library.
There's a whole bunch of things.
So, she's everything that has to do with the community, everything to be of service to others. And that's something that I always admire from her. I met her when we were in elementary school, and me not knowing English at all, she was one of the people that would come to me, one of my first friends that I had. Yeah. So Alina's definitely the person you can trust, the person that you can go to. She's there to serve other, and she definitely has herself put together. Mm-hmm. I loved when she said, I am the same person professionally just as I am the same person when I'm not. And that's really hard, especially to keep that balance. Yeah, correct. Because I'm really goofy and crazy outside my professional. And here, then I was just like, oh, I don't know how to smile. So I think that's really, really rare and unique to have someone that's actually them 24/7.
Yeah, and Alina for me was she's very community service. She's attentive to what the community needs, and it's more about helping them and just getting to know their needs, and you need a person like her, who has that personality, who has the willing and able to, help them. For me, she was by far also another one of my favorite guests on the episode. And then another guest we had was Hansel Batista.
Fuerza.
Yeah, La Fuerza, which is my favorite thing. So Hansel and I actually met through attorney Chris Garcia, great attorney. And we still talk. We were actually sitting at a bar one day. We were just talking. And that fell again.
La Fuerza. La Fuerza.
That was La Fuerza from Hansel right here. We're just gonna keep rolling. Yeah, definitely. So Hansel was very hands-on. For me with him, it's amazing because I saw him come into the business. I didn't know who he was, and then I saw him come into the business, and I'm like, hey, who are you? He's like, oh, I'm Hansel. I'm the new attorney that I'm gonna work with him. I'm like, okay, great. And then now you see the growth from where he started to where he is. And where, and we know where this business is going to take him, right. Especially because he loves helping the Spanish community, the Latino community, right? He loves just giving back, and that's what we're all about. Correct. What would you say your favorite part was?
Love his energy. You were telling us to shut up. You were like, stop, so that we can have it on the podcast, because we were fully connecting on what it is to help, what it is to be young in the business. And
before we even recorded the podcast.
Exactly. In a professional level, that when you're young and you have this professions, 100%. For example, you're dealing with people's finances, that it's on my end. Mm-hmm. You're dealing with people's legal stuff, which is on his end. And they see someone young. They need someone confident, someone that knows what they're doing. And I think that's something I can relate with them. And one thing that I do like about him being one of our guests is that we already done a lot of business with him. So we know that he does he talks and he makes it
happen.
He
talks and acts, because there's a lot of people that just talk, but they don't walk the talk.
That's what I try to say. Yeah. So for Hansel, that's another thing that I realized that he has that youth to help him. Yeah. Like you mentioned, he's there to work on the weekends. He's there to work after hours and so on. And I think that's something that a lot of professionals forget, that you need to put in that work. You need to put in that effort to your community. So besides La Fuerza, I think that's what was my favorite thing, that Correct. We already done business with him. He knows what people are expecting from him, definitely. And he delivers. Yeah,
no, like you said, and for me, it was like my takeaway from him is just like, stopping what he stopped from what he was doing to kind of like, take his bar exam for 3, stop everything, take his bar exam, pass it, and get back into the business. And just killing it. It's like, taking a break from your business for 3 months, especially in this industry, is like a slap in the face. So, yes. the fact that he was able to do that. Even 2 days, right? Like, so for me, it was like, wow, like if he did that, like, and his business was still running, like, then I definitely could do the same thing. Correct. And create a business where, if I'm not there for a week or 2, I want it to run. That's right. So yeah, pretty much we had 8 guests. Every guest had something that made them different. Everything about each guest, thank you guys all for coming.
Thank you to
yeah, go ahead.
Thank you to all the guests that came to season 2. And here's good news and a little bit of sad news. The sad news is that we will be taking a break. So we'll see you back in November. We're actually recording on the first day of fall, but we're going to take a break. We're going to come in for season 3 a lot stronger, different. There's going to be a lot of changes, and we appreciate everyone that was part of season 2, season 1, season 3. We're coming up with new things. Everything's going to be new, and we're just going to take a break from releasing for October.
Yes, correct. And so we're going to have more guests. We're going to have new topics. So you'll probably see some of the previous guests that we had on the previous episodes. We're going to change up the way that we're doing our podcast, because we want this to be the number 1 podcast. And we want it to be the best podcast that you'll ever see. So season 3, we're coming back stronger, like Johana said. Just stay tuned. And we'll hope to see you guys. Follow our Instagram at feeding.power.podcast. Just so you guys see our love updates. We're going to be releasing some clips, some behind the scenes bloopers. So we're going to have everything you guys can think about. Also, if you have any feedback or any subjects you guys want us to touch base on, or any guests, DM us and we will make it happen.
That's right. So just to conclude, here's a little secret. If you are watching this far from the video, we were ready to put podcast back to sleep. We're going to end it. And then we decided that a lot of people were loving it. Correct. A lot of people was benefiting. So if it's going to benefit people, and we're here to help. So if we're going to benefit people, we're going to just make it stronger, better. We're going to come up with better ideas, new things, because we're here not to help ourselves, but to help the rest of the people.
100%. And we can't wait to see you guys on the season 3.